Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The proposed set of do's and don'ts guidelines for areas that will shift to new normal classification was still being finalized, according to presidential spokesman Harry Roque. The proposed new normal status of areas that recorded no recent coronavirus transmission has been previously approved in principle by the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, or IATF. Roque said he intends to raise the matter anew in the next meeting of the government's policy-making task force on dealing with the pandemic. The country is largely under the Modified General Community Quarantine, or MGCQ, the least restrictive of the four levels implemented by the government to curb the outbreak of the coronavirus. The areas that remain under the stricter General Community Quarantine, or GCQ, are National Capital Region, Cordillera Administrative Region, Batangas, Tacloban City, Iligan City, Davao del Norte, Davao City, and Lanao del Sur. President Duterte has started to look into the proposal of the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, to place the country under MGCQ starting March to help fight the rising hunger incidence and stimulate economic activity.
Well, yan po naman tayo na pag-usapan na talaga ng ating IATF, at ang inaantay lang po natin ay yung mga do's and don'ts. No? Hayaan nyo po, sa susunod na IATF ay bubuksan ko po ulit itong usapin ito dahil tayo po talaga yung nag-move na magdeklara na tayo ng new normal doon sa mga lugar na wala na pong transmission ng COVID-19. Meron naman po tayong mga lugar na natigil na po ang transmission ng COVID-19.
Expressing confidence, the Philippines top diplomat in Beijing on Tuesday said that the vaccines allocated by China for the Philippines will be delivered as scheduled and as promised, including its donation of 600,000 doses made by Chinese pharmaceutical Sinovac. Speaking at the regular palace press briefing on Tuesday, Ambassador Chito Santa Romana said the delivery schedule for the vaccine is being discussed through diplomatic channels, specifically between the Interagency Task Force and the Chinese manufacturer. Only last week, presidential spokesman Harry Roque announced that the 600,000 doses promised by Chinese Foreign Minister and State Councilor Wang Yi will be delivered to the Philippines on February 23, 2021. Apart from the donation, the Philippines also ordered 25 million doses of Chinese-made vaccines, which will be delivered on a staggered basis within this year. While China has been ramping up the production of the vaccines over the last several months, China, however, is currently observing a week-long public holiday due to the Chinese New Year, or the Spring Festival. Hence, offices are closed and are expected to open on February 18. He admitted that despite ramping up the vaccine production, it is also a challenge for China to meet the demand, as it is playing the role of supplying developing countries and the third world. The advantage of the Philippines, according to the Filipino diplomat, is that we are pretty high in their priority list.
So far, the situation looks good. I think certainly before the end of the month, we will be receiving the vaccine donation that Foreign Minister Wang Yi promised last month. So we're also, what the Chinese, are right now in a week-long public holiday. Chinese New Year, or they call the Chinese Spring Festival sa China ngayon. Kaya sarado mga opisina. Pero magbubukas na yan bukas at makalawa. Kaya we'll resume the discussions and of course the work of facilitating the communication between the vaccine makers and IATF to ensure itong delivery of the vaccines to the Philippines.
An expert of the Octa research team has expressed uncertainty as to the economic benefits of allowing the reopening of gaming arcades and other recreational business facilities in the country. Octa research team member Dr. Guido David reiterated the group's apprehension regarding the reopening of movie theaters, but said they will study the implementing guidelines for each business sector that will be given less restrictions once it is available. David reminded the need to roll out the vaccination program immediately. Octa research team has recommended that the quarantine status, especially in Metro Manila, remains under General Community Quarantine or GCQ to have a semblance of control and prevent possible surge in cases of the coronavirus disease. Meanwhile, according to Marikina Mayor Marcy Teodoro, the mayors of the local government units in Metro Manila will each submit their position papers to the Interagency Task Force for Emerging Infectious Diseases on the impending opening of cinemas and leisure establishments. 2,000 hogs have arrived in Manila and are up for distribution to different markets to address the shortage of the supply of pork in the National Capital Region, according to Malacanang. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque said the supply of the hogs, which came from South Cotabato, is part of the government's efforts in response to the shortage caused by the African swine fever, or ASF. He said the hogs were brought to Vitas in Tondo before they are distributed to different markets in the metropolis. President Duterte's Executive Order number 124, which has set the price ceiling for pork and chicken, was issued earlier this month due to consumer complaints of rising prices. According to Roque, the government will continue importing pork from areas in the Philippines with no cases of ASF to ease the pork shortage. Meanwhile, the palace official said while the situation will not last long, he said that the government has to take measures because the ASF really took a toll on the supply of pork. Early this month, Roque said the Philippines has a shortfall of 400,000 metric tons of pork. In Metro News, Caloocan City frontliners still wary of getting COVID jab. Manila Vice Mayor calls COVID frontliners modern-day gomburzas. And viral delivery man who traveled from Binondo to Cavite gets new bike. More from this report.
Some frontline workers in Caloocan City are still hesitant about getting the COVID-19 vaccine for fear of possible side effects. Dr. Alfonso Famaran, Medical Center Chief of Dr. Jose Rodriguez Memorial Hospital, said on Tuesday that 10% of around 1,911 surveyed employees in the city said they do not want to receive the COVID-19 vaccine yet. To address the hospital employees' concerns, Famaran said they are now strengthening the information dissemination campaign and answering more frequently asked questions. He added they have also been visiting offices to orient the employees. Manila Vice Mayor Hani Lacuna Pangan on Wednesday lauded the country's frontline health workers who are battling COVID-19 and called them modern-day gomburzas, the martyred priests. The unveiling of the historical marker of Father Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, or Gomburza, was preceded by a wreath-laying ceremony at the Rizal Park. The project was spearheaded by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. The Vice Mayor said the death of the three secular priests sparked outrage among Filipinos, leading to the first stirring of the Philippine Revolution. Jeffrey Jasquicioson, the delivery man who went viral on Facebook after battling exhaustion while delivering a parcel from Binondo, Manila all the way to Bacoor, Cavite on a small bicycle, has received a new one on Tuesday. In a post of Tondo Cartel, a clothing line in Tondo, a beaming Sioson is seen posting with a brand new bicycle courtesy of shop owner. Since the posting of his story, the shop owner has been looking for Sioson. In a video, they also posted Sioson expressed gratitude to those who extended financial assistance to him. He was at first reluctant to receive the money, but was urged to take it so he can use it to buy his protective gear when biking. Since the posting of his story, a lot of people have expressed their willingness to help Sioson.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Residents in Taal Volcano Island evacuated due to increased volcanic activity. Police operation that rescued 19 Luma children, an overkill according to a cause-oriented group. 500,000 priority individuals for COVID vaccination identified in Davao City. And here are the details.
The Philippine Coast Guard evacuated on Tuesday, February 16, at least 60 residents at the Volcano Island in Batangas as part of the strict enforcement of the danger zone order amid the continuous abnormal activities of the Taal volcano. The Coast Guard in Batangas said they have already deployed their personnel in the area not only to evacuate but also to conduct patrol in the area to prevent people from going to the Volcano Island, which was already declared as a no man's land after the Taal volcano eruption last year. Meanwhile, the Department of Social Welfare and Development assured that it has enough quick response fund to assist families that could be affected by a possible volcanic eruption. Since February 13, a total of 68 shallow tremor episodes have occurred in Taal Volcano Island. For a cause-oriented group, the police operation that saw the arrest of 7 educators and elders of a tribe and the supposed rescue of 19 Luma children from a retreat house of a top university in Cebu has a lot more to it than meets the eye. University of the Philippines Cebu Professor Regleto Imbong, who is also the convener of the Save Our Children Network Cebu, said they believe that there was a bigger agenda behind the police operation. The Police Regional Office Central Visayas has said that the rescue of the Luma children was upon the request of their parents who have not seen them for the past 2 years. The city of Davao will need to vaccinate a total of 531,673 individuals who comprise the local government's priority sector in its coronavirus disease vaccination program. Of the total individuals in the government's top priority list, the city has identified 16,677 frontline health workers, 77,189 senior citizens, 432,549 indigents, and 5,258 security personnel. The local government targets to vaccinate around 1.2 million people to achieve herd immunity.
And in world news, new COVID-19 cases down 16% last week according to the World Health Organization. US and Britain cry foul as Myanmar Suu Kyi hit with new charge. And French baguettes vie for UNESCO Heritage Nod. Let's watch this report.
The number of new cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide fell by 16% last week to 2.7 million, according to World Health Organization. The number of new deaths report also fell 10% week on week to 81,000. The WHO said late Tuesday in its weekly epidemiological update using figures up to Sunday. 5 of the 6 WHO regions of the world reported a double-digit percentage decline in new cases, with only the Eastern Mediterranean showing a rise of 7%. New case numbers dropped 20% last week in Africa and in the Western Pacific, 18% in Europe, 16% in the Americas, and 13% in Southeast Asia. WHO said the number of new cases had declined for a 5th consecutive week, dropping by almost half for more than 5 million cases in the week of January 4. Myanmar's military on Wednesday drew fresh international criticisms by slapping a new charge on deposed civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi as the general scat of the internet for the 3rd straight night in a bid to grind down an anti-coup uprising. In 2 weeks since the military ousted Suu Kyi and put her under house arrest in administrative capital Naypyidaw, big cities and isolated village communities alike have been in open revolt. The United States said it was disturbed by the news and renewed demands for Suu Kyi's release. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson also voiced his condemnation, calling the charges against Suu Kyi fabricated and a clear violation of her human rights. More than 420 people have been arrested since the coup, according to the list of confirmed detentions from the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners Monitoring Group. Military spokesman said Tuesday that both Suu Kyi and Win Myint were in a safer place and in good health. French baguettes are in the running for this year's UNESCO's heritage list, in competition with zinc roofs and wine festival in Arbois. In mid-March, French Culture Ministry will have to decide between the three bids and submit the choice to President Emmanuel Macron. According to Culture Ministry, it would be a good thing to protect the baguette's know-how, also to recognize the French baguette as a unique product that is typically French and that other countries can't make.
In entertainment, Chris Aquino's Facebook posts have been restored days after she sought help from the social networking sites. According to Chris, she was able to reach out to people from Facebook through a friend who works for a telecommunication company. Chris said that she's thankful to all those people who made it possible for her to restore her posts and that she values her credibility. This after the deleted posts include the birthday greetings sent by many of her followers. Prior to the deletion of posts, Chris promised that at least 75 of those who will greet her on her birthday will get 5,000 pesos each. In sports, Phoenix Super LPG sent reformed superstar Calvin Abueva to Magnolia in a stunning trade made Wednesday morning, February 17, 2021. In a deal approved by the PBA, the Fuel Masters are sending Abueva and the 10th pick in this year's PBA draft to the Hot Shots in exchange for Chris Banchero and the 6th and 18th overall selections in the March 14 proceedings. The Fuel Masters made a bold move despite rewarding Abueva with a 3-year contract following a stellar return from a 16-month suspension with a renewed attitude and the same competitive spirit that almost sent the franchise to its first finals appearance. Phoenix, on the other hand, welcomes to its fold Banchero, who reunites with Phoenix coach Topex Robinson, a former assistant when the two were with Alaska. In today's episode of Tech Talk, Manila Bulletin's tech news editor Art Samaniego gives us some tips on how to secure your online accounts. Let's watch this.
Cybercriminals are getting more sneaky nowadays, but that doesn't mean you can't secure your accounts online. In celebration of Safer Internet Day, here are 10 tips to make sure you and your family are safe from cyber attacks and more. Hi, I'm Art Samaniego and welcome to Tech Talk. The first thing you need to do is to create a strong password. Make sure that you can easily remember it, but avoid using personal information such as names or birthdays. It is advisable to use passphrases for your password. Passphrases are a combination of random words, sometimes even numbers, that form a phrase. To make your password strong, make sure that it is at least 14 characters and mixed with upper and lower case letters, numbers, and symbols. Also, do not use the same password for every website, app, or account that you have. And of course, change your passwords regularly. The second tip is to secure your Gmail or Google account. You can do so by using the two-step verification that gives an extra layer of security to your account. This means when you log in your password in your Gmail or Google account, it will prompt your enrolled device and ask if you are really the one that is trying to access your account. The third tip is to secure your social media accounts. Just like securing your Gmail or Google account, you will go through a two-step verification. You can download the Google Authenticator app to make sure that you have the two-step verification even if you are offline. The fourth tip is to take a security checkup. This will give you a personalized and actionable security to help you strengthen the security of your account. The fifth is to also take a password checkup. This checks all your saved passwords and tell if it is a weak or strong password, and if it has been reused or even compromised. The sixth tip is to keep your apps and software up to date. This is to make sure you have the latest security updates of all your apps and software. It is also advisable to set your app settings in your phone to auto-update, or if not, make it a habit to check for updates every morning. The seventh tip is to set up a recovery phone number or email address. This is to keep you aware if there are any suspicious activity on your account or if you need to block someone from using your account. This can also help you log back into your account quicker in case you lose access or can't sign in. Apart from your accounts, you need to also secure your kids from the dangers of the World Wide Web. Our eighth tip for you is to manage your kids' time with technology. Apps such as Google's Family Link can help parents manage their child's Google account and even their Android device and set digital ground rules such as your child's screen time. Apart from Google's Family Link app, our ninth tip is to use third-party apps such as the YouTube Kids theme. Here, you can set a timer on how long your child can watch videos on YouTube and from collections of channels made specifically for kids. And last but not the least, our 10th tip is to cultivate internet values. With the cyberspace getting toxic by the minute, it is time that we instill to everyone good internet values. We must cultivate critical thinking to avoid oversharing so that you won't unintentionally share private information about you and your family and friends. We must also develop critical thinking to avoid misinformation and sharing false information or fake news. Same goes to falling for online scams, which can also compromise your safety and privacy. And above all, everyone should learn to address cyberbullying and cancel culture. With these tips, you can be sure that your online account and your net surfing will be safe and secure, not just for you, but your loved ones as well. And that is Tech Talk for this week. Join us again next week for more tech updates. This is Art Samaniego and this is Tech Talk. Be fully informed.
Thank you for those tips, Art. It's good to know how you can secure your online accounts and help make it a safer internet for everyone. And those are the news on Web today, February 17, 2021. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph, or you may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.